Welcome to the show, a man who should need no introduction from Bulls fans. We got Big Dave from CHGO Bulls, from Bowl on Sports, bro. What's going on, man?
Man, peace, bro. Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
I'm out here living, man. Living the dream, bro.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I can say. Living the dream. I
Hey,
get to talk about my favorite teams for a living. So, hey, here we go.
sometimes it get tough, but we here. We gonna do it. Sometimes it get tough, brother. I hear you, man. We gonna make it through the storm, though. We gonna do it together, so we gonna make it through the storm.
That's a
We gonna
big
be all right.
fact. Big fact, man. So looking at this team, man, I know we're getting ready to come out the trade deadline. We still got a couple of days left before the Bulls play basketball again. I think our first game back of the All-Star break is Boston, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So we had a quiet trade deadline that triggered a lot of Bulls fan naturally. Just kind of the inactiveness from the team. But Dave, I'm gonna throw it to you on this one, man. How are you? What going into the All-Star break? What are your confidence level on the Chicago Bulls to finish this season out?
You mean what do I think they'll end up?
Yeah.
Like,
What do you
when
think?
it's over?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my hope and what I want them to be is a playing team. I'm probably in the minority hoping for that, for them to actually be a playing team. A lot of Bulls fans I know want them to lose, to get a better draft positioning. You know what I'm saying? To get a better basketball player. I get all that. For me, I was kind of raised in the Jordan era. I don't like just losing to be losing. I always find some kind of positive in winning. I always feel like it's a great thing when you actually win, and you're rewarded, I feel like, when you actually win and do it kind of the right way. And the reason I want to go to the play-in so bad, especially for this team, is not to make noise in the playoffs. I don't feel like they're going to go and do anything in the playoffs. But it's more so for guys like Kobe White, for Ayo Dosunmu, for Patrick Williams, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, the young guys that we have. That's where you need to start getting their mentality that, okay, what your baseline is, what your surface, your floor is you go to the playoffs. That's the floor for the team. And I want them to have that kind of mindset and develop that mindset and not a losing one, because we've seen the Bulls constantly lose, and you see the mindset that it can have. Yeah. Your clearest factor in that is Zach LaVine. Like, he does not know what winning is like. And this is kind of what he kind of looks like, is a guy who gets to the All-Star break, does all those things, but he has no idea what winning and going deep in the playoff is like. I'd like for my young guys to have that experience and to have that knowledge if we at least make the playoffs every year, and then we'll deal with whatever else is around us.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said with that, and even the fact of getting some type of postseason play, even if it is just playing, like, that experience. Because, like you said, with the Zach thing, like, we had years of nothing, no playing, no nothing, and so getting that and actually fighting for something meaningful, having something to aim towards, definitely, it matters in that mindset, like you said, for a franchise. And I want Kobe, as he's ascending, I want that ascension to mean something, right? Yeah. You don't want to have a player playing outside their mind, stepping up, and then as a team, you're like, hey, it's okay. We're just gonna pack it in. We want this lottery pick, right? You don't want that,
right?
Man.
Right. It doesn't make any sense to me to do it that way. Like, you're watching his growth and his ascension. He deserves to be playing in a postseason and learning what it's like to finish, those games. I love that he got the last shot against Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to take those shots. He's got to learn in these situations. He already knows what losing's like. When he walked in, he was losing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was, bro. Like, he walked in here like that. So I need him to feel and to taste what it's like to actually, be on the side of some W's and actually getting to a postseason. Now, no, I'm not. Again, playoffs, play in. I just call it postseason. Yeah. Like, when you get outside of the 82 games, for me, it's the postseason. So getting to the play in, having that experience is key. You saw Kobe in the last play in last year and how close he almost got the Bulls to actually advancing and beating the Heat. But Billy Donovan did some Billy Donovan and took him out the game and threw Patrick Beverly in there, and they didn't score no more. You know what I'm saying? But so I want Kobe, to have that feeling and to know what that's like, to not only go, but to be the dude we're depending on also, when we're in that postseason. No, dude, you get the ball. You're the one who's got to carry us. You got to show us the way. I want all those young guys to have that kind of feeling of this is what it is right here. So that goes over and continues to bleed over year after year when you're working in when you're working in the off season, when you're hitting those weights, when you're learning those new skills and things like that. That needs to be embedded in your mind. It's the same kind of mentality that Miami kind of has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no matter what, Pat Riley's like, I'm going to the playoffs. I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't care who's on our team. I don't care, dog.
Yeah.
I don't care if I got Big Dave at the 3. We going to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to go, and I honor that kind of stuff right there because winning matters, man. Like I don't ever want people to lose sight of that, bro. Like winning actually does matter.
For sure. Now, with that said, winning it does matter. You got a lot of Bulls fans that think the Bulls should blow it all up, even, go to the fact of being bad for a couple of years. It seems like AK is committed to having this team win as much as they can every single year, and there's something commendable about that. But as we go, out of this season and go into next off season, we got question marks around DeMar. I'm not really too worried about them extending Patrick Williams. We'll see what can be done with Drum. How much change do you expect to happen looking at this Bulls team this offseason before next season starts?
Oh man, I can't even. It's sad to think that it might not be any. Like AK, man, it's been depressing. He's been depressing, bro. Yeah. Said, and I don't like what I'm hearing. He started off with we're here to win multiple championships. To we're here to be the continuity. To we're here to compete. Competitiveness. You know what I mean? Like. Bro, like you're going down. That's not what are you doing, man? Like, and then you're not making no moves. I mean, how do you make no moves? Listen, as much as I wanted them to go to the play-in, I wanted them to make all the moves leading up, coming into this trade deadline. Because I saw the value in this. You can trade Caruso and get you a first-round pick or even 2, depending on the desperation of the front office. You can trade DeMar DeRozan and get you something nice because he's DeMar DeRozan. You had Andre Drummond on the table for 3 second-round picks to Philly, and you pulled out of that, which is insane to me. But because all I'm saying is everybody I just named, you trade those guys, you're still a play-in team. You're the same team. You still are 26 and 29, even with or without those guys, man. Let them go out there and let them win and finish their careers how they want to finish them, man. And get new contracts because Andre Drummond is not coming back. Andre Drummond is going to get this money, all right? And he deserves to get it. But my God, man, it just really blows my mind, Haize. They did absolutely nothing twice. Like, that is wild to me.
3 times, technically. 3 times.
Yes. If you want to be, yes, absolutely right, bro. 3 times trash, bro. Like, that is ridiculous. How do you do nothing? I get it if you're competing for championships, but the problem is even those teams do something. Exactly. Like the top 7 teams in the East all did something at the trade deadline. The top 7, all of them did something. The only 2, Orlando didn't do anything and the Bulls didn't do anything. And I just don't understand that aspect. Orlando, I maybe couldn't understand because they're young and they got a bunch of talent right there. And I feel that. Obviously they know they need to make some moves, but they might have a plan. So I can't question what they're doing. I could damn sure question what AK is doing, dog. Because I mean, he's looking at stuff that we're not seeing. It's like he's playing 2K. You know what I mean? You can't hope and wish your way to these victories right here, man. You need actual talent, actual players, actual growth, and then something for the future. You are the same exact team without those guys I mentioned. You're the same team. You're a play-in team, whether you're 8 or whether you're 10. You're still a play-in team, regardless, man. You shouldn't be fighting to get to 7th and be like, okay, that's why we kept all these dudes on our team. And then I go into the offseason having no hope because I haven't seen you make any kind of moves. Like even your offseason moves. I'm sorry, Haize. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, cook, Dave. You're cooking. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, even your offseason moves, bro. I'm watching and you bring me in Drummond. You bring in Dragic. And you're like, well, my issue was 3-point shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? All right, fine. You want to believe in the youth? Okay, great. Let's do that. Let's believe in the youth. 3-point shooting is still trash, right? Okay, let's go to all season. You can make some bigger moves right here. Let me go get Torrey Craig. Let me go get Javon Carter. On paper, I felt that. Made sense. But it can't be your biggest move. You know what I'm saying? Is getting those 2 guys. That's what the issue was. Now, going to getting a shooting coach, yes, something you should have did 2 years ago. Wonderful. We win it. We got it. And you see the change. Look at Ayo's shooting right now. Dalen Terry shoots like 6 air balls, but they're the prettiest air balls he's ever shot in his life since he's been on the Chicago Bulls because his form is different. So I appreciate that. That's great. But to hang your 3-point hopes on Javon Carter and Torrey Craig is not the move, and it shouldn't be the move. And Javon Carter, man, Haize, it hurts my heart, bro, to speak ill of the hometown. I don't like doing it. I despise. You know, I'm a long guy held off saying anything about him because he's from the crib. I despise it. I don't, and it hurts my heart. But the truth is what it is. He ain't been on point.
He's not good. He's not good.
It's just not good. He ain't been doing his thing. The pull-up threes are just Denzel Valentine reminiscent, man. And he was that was his bread and butter. Yeah. Is he was known to do that. And I understand that as at other teams, he had more time on the floor. So maybe he's thinking, I don't know if I'm be on the floor, so I'm be Antonio Blakey 2.0, boy. These things are going up. You know what I'm saying? Like, these shots are getting up and getting in there when I got these 11 minutes. But bottom line is he just hasn't been good. Now, Torrey Craig has. Torrey Craig's been awesome, but he got injured. He got hurt. You know what I mean? So we'll see what we can depend on there. So the bottom line is I still don't really have clutch three-point shooting at the end of the day. So for 2 years straight, even 3 years, you knew what you needed, and you refused to like fully address it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just continue to put Band-Aids on gaping wounds, and you know you need to sew it up and stitch it up and you know, let it heal. And you're like, nah, bro, just put a little Robitussin on that. We good. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Come on, man. Come on, dog. Yeah.
The thing with me is that, like, everything AK said, and don't get me wrong, he says a lot of good stuff, but everything he says, he almost contradicts. He came in here initially saying we're going to build organically through the draft and develop our young players. We then sent off 3 first-round picks and signed and traded for a player over 30 and signed another one over 30 in that offseason, which is cool. The team was working. Don't get me wrong. We signed Lonzo Ball. Team gets off to number 1 start in the East, and Lonzo and Zach go down against the Golden State Warriors. It's been all hell since then, to be quite frank with you, bro. Like, outside of some really fun wins and some fun games and some fun stretches, it's been all hell, bro. Like, it's just like, I don't I try to say it like this. You know, I try to be level-headed when I'm not going the hell off, right? So I try to say, like, the frustration isn't just about the fact that they didn't do nothing at this trade deadline. It's the culmination of decisions that you haven't made none. Like you said, Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic. Then went from that to Torrey Craig and Javon Carter. And I thought, listen, I was vouching for Javon Carter. I thought he was going to come in here and make defense with make an impact with his defense and his three-point shooting. He's been bad. Torrey Craig's been solid, but he missed 22 games, right? So, like, everything culminates in this place that we just sit in right now, and it's like we haven't made any significant progression forward for 3 years. 3 of them.
3 of them things, Haize. And that's what's frustrating. Like, to be comfortable to sit in the same spot and be comfortable with that is mind-blowing to me. You know what I mean? That I can't understand those kind of things. And then the things you hear that come out when, you know, I've never been for a rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, I'm for a retool. Yeah, you can retool, move some of these pieces and build around them young guys. I've never been for burning it all down. Yep. When the report came out that the front office was like, well, the front office was with it. But it was AK who was like, nah, we ain't doing nothing. Nah, I'm good. That frustrated me as hell because not only are you telling me, that means you're cool with what we have, period. That means you're against rebuilds, retools, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Reprograms, whatever. Resets, however you want to call it. He ain't with that. I'm cool with what I got. It feels like he wants to see the team that he put together play. He wants to see he wanted to see the Lonzo so bad. Because he was like, I watched it work, and I feel that. But my man, that was a couple years back. You can't be reminiscing on the great things we did. You know what I'm saying? Back then,
it's like being in a bad relationship, bro. When you 3 years into the relationship, and you keep remembering that first 6 months when you were your honeymoon period. We got 2 years now, and you have been abusive. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
you changed. You know what I'm saying? You can't be Well, you know, she brought me some flowers, you know what I'm saying, when we first met, you know what I mean? Or he took me to dinner, he treated me nice. No, the cops are at your house all the time now. This ain't good. This ain't good. It's not the same, man. You have got to change these things. I don't know what he wants to do with Lonzo. I mean, that's going to be a big thing. Personally, I think he wants to keep him, you know what I'm saying, and do it like that, because that's just what we've seen him be. We watching him just hold all his toys and want to keep all his toys before they can play with them or share them with someone. You know, he doesn't want to do that. So I think he's going to give Lonzo a chance to play next season, if Lonzo's ready to play next season, and see what that looks like. On paper, Kobe and Lonzo backcourt sounds
Could be
really
nice.
promising to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That sounds like a lot of fun to me. But we gotta see if Lonzo is able to get back. But yeah, man, like it's just that he refuses to do anything and make any kind of move to help this team. And then the moves he makes, he makes moves like his team is third in the East. You know? That's what he does. He makes those kind of moves. Adding Torrey Craig, Javon Carter to a third team in the East sounds great. Those are great moves. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, solid. Gordon Dragic and Drummond, you know, and we're second in the East. That sounds amazing. Like, that's great. Like, it would have been a great trade for Philly. Like, man, we just added Drummond. That's great. You know, yeah, because you're winning. When you're a play-in team that is 8th or 9th, bro, it is not winning. It is going straight up backwards or not moving at all. Either one, but it's not going forward. It's not progression.
Yeah. When you look at one of the situations, of course, that were surrounding the Bulls this season and kind of ended the Zach LaVine, you know, initially I thought like, hey, this could be the thing that forces some change for this Bulls team because I don't think AK would have made change either way. Now that went the way that it went. Zach LaVine got season-ending surgery. He's out. Do you think Zach is on the Chicago Bulls roster opening day next season?
No.
Okay.
If they could have traded Zach 5 minutes ago, they would have traded Zach. Zach would have been going. Like, no, Zach is out of here, man. I don't see him staying in this offseason. I'm curious to see what they think they can get for him or what they will get for a guy like Zach LaVine, who, if I just trip when I sit and I go back and watch these highlights, like, my God, this dude is just really good at basketball. It's so crazy how easy the game looks to him, you know, at certain
Zach
stretches.
LaVine's in his zone and scoring and in that rhythm, it's some of the most beautiful basketball you'll see. Zach LaVine in rhythm and in the zone is beautiful to watch, bro.
Yes. It's crazy good when he's hitting those threes. It just looks so pure when he's making moves to the bucket. You know, like he had one of the quickest first steps in the NBA. I've been saying that for years, man. Like his first step is ridiculous. Like once he gets it, he's gone. And him figuring out how to draw fouls now because he, you know, being with DeMar DeRozan, like he's really making his game better. He did not help any of his matters coming into this season acting like he was James Harden. No, listen, you can only act like James Harden if you got James Harden's resume. That's the only way that can work. Yeah, he's an MVP. He's all NBA. He's an all-star. He's been to a Western Conference Finals. Like he leading the league in assists. He lead the league in point. Like his resume is stupid long. Zach LaVine, you 2-time All-Star. That's it. You know, like you can't come in with your New Balance and your clutch hoodie on acting like you that guy, you know, and that's what he did. And it burned him bad. And then your team played better without you. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. And then when you got back, you still didn't look comfortable. Like you were happy, you know, in this lineup. You're overpassing. You know what I mean? Like you're doing these. It was frustrating. But because of all those reasons, I don't think he'll be back, Haize. I just think he'll be going on another team. And then I think he's going to be really good because Zach LaVine, I think, is a really good basketball player.
Yeah, I think the thing with Zach is that Zach was miscast as a number one, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like he's not that generational talent that by his being on your team alone is going to push you to winning playoff series. He's just not that. But that doesn't mean there's a large gap between that and calling Zach LaVine trash like some people make him out to be. Like he's just, that's just not factual. Zach LaVine is a good basketball player. He has his flaws, especially defensively, but like we've seen it. Zach LaVine can lock in defensively. We've seen times where Zach LaVine has had games defensively where it's like, where's that been? Right. So I do think if Zach goes to the right situation, you're going to see a different Zach LaVine, and I can't wait to see what the reaction are for some people when they see Zach LaVine.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Let him do anything. You know how Bulls they should be, bro. Let him do anything, bro. It's gonna be one. It's
people that anytime Wendell actually dunks the ball, they're like, see, and it's like, come on, man, what are we talking about, bro? Not the Wendell.
Not the Wendell. Listen, and anytime I get excited about old Bulls players, it's never because I'm like, we should have kept him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just excited that they're actually doing something in the league. Like when Daniel Gafford got traded, I called it. I was like, this was the right move. I was like, I thought he was going to have a 12-year career and play for like 6 teams. He's fine. Let him get traded. Let him find somewhere comfortable. But I'm telling y'all, that dude can ball. My only thing is, if I'm telling you they can ball, I know what I'm saying when I'm telling you they can ball, dog. Like, because I told you listen, I'm not even gonna toot that horn right now. I'm not gonna do that right there. But I'm just telling y'all, like, certain guys, that's what I do. I don't do it whereas I'm like, we should have kept them. We should have held on to him because you don't know the circumstances mentally for a lot of them dudes. You know what I mean? Some of them just might need to get up out the city and get somewhere else and find themselves. Lowry's a great example because he told you mentally I was done. I didn't want to play basketball anymore. He had to leave, bro, to find himself. So I'm very happy he did, and he's doing what he's doing. And everybody's like, man, we should have never gave up on him. It wasn't going to happen here, bro. Like, it just wasn't
Jim
going to
Boylan
happen.
ruined that, man. Jim Boylan ruined that. Bro, I went back and looked. So it felt like Jim Boylan was here so long. Jim Boylan was the coach of the Bulls for 1.5 seasons. Why does it feel like he was here for like 4 years, bro? Like, that's how much damage he did, man.
Because he was an assistant, too. That's why.
Yeah,
so it feels
true.
longer watching this idiot, you know what I'm saying, out there clapping and jumping in front of the coach. Jumping in front of Fred Hoiberg, to be, oh God, don't get me, why you doing this to me? Like, don't bring that fool up to me.
Let me shut up. So this season we knew coming into the season we were hoping to see one of the young players take a step or a leap. That's been Kobe White, Io to a degree as well, especially here lately. But I want to ask you this. I know the story's out on Kobe and Io. We've talked about those guys so much. But with me having you here, I want to talk about the other young guys. What has this season done for you to kind of change the perception of maybe a Dalen Terry? How do you look at a Julian Phillips going forward and things like that of what they can end up being for the Bulls? Because coming into the season, a lot of Bulls fans, one of the biggest reasons of doubt around the Bulls were because we had our young players were still all question marks. They were all question marks. We didn't know what they were going to be. We didn't know how they were going to turn out. But those two guys specifically, how are you feeling about those two guys with this season, man?
Well, let me start with Dalen because everybody know I've been on Dalen Island from the beginning. Because I like Dalen. He has attributes that I'm like, if you're going to be a winning team, you need that kind of stuff. Like, you need the goon. Like, it's necessary. You need goons on your team like that. And not only is he a goon, he's also someone who can actually, especially in transition, Dalen Terry is awesome. Whether he's running the floor or whether he's the one running the point in transition. He is awesome passing the ball and getting others involved. He's awesome in rebounding as well. Like, Dalen Terry will go throw his body in there and come out with some boards for you at the guard position. Like, that's big. His only issue has been mainly the three-point shooting. That's it. That's what the main thing for him, and his strength also, his size also has gotten. But he's done a good job at that, getting stronger this season. He's definitely much more toned, and I think he's going to get even stronger going into all season. His is the three-point shooting. If he shoots, and I don't even need him to shoot, 40. If he can shoot 34, 33%, you know what I mean, from the three-point line, I mean, he would do wonders for the Chicago Bulls because his IQ is really solid when he's allowed to play the position at that point and cheat at that point guard. I don't want him as the point guard, but certain things like, and I keep bringing up Draymond Green when I think about him. Like, he just reminds me of that kind of game, a guy who you're like, can't shoot the basketball, but but has the ability to score 30. Isn't tall enough to get in there and battle with you to get rebounds, but might end up with 16 boards. Isn't a dude that can dribble all that great, but will get you 9, 10 assists. It isn't a guy, that you would look at and just be like, you know what, this dude should, be starting for us or should be getting meaningful minutes for us. And then he gets to a point where you can't take him out the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a weird combination of talent and skills that he has, but it's because of his IQ. Like, I think once the game really starts slowing down for him, you're going to see a better one. But keep shooting all the air balls in the world. I don't care. Shoot them all. Like, that's how you learn, dog. Keep doing it. Julian Phillips is nice. Like, that's the best way I can say it.
Yeah.
We had on CH, I found his AAU coach, and I had him on the show. And everything he said about him pretty much came to fruition when we were talking. And he was like, well, Julian's, you're going to look at him and see a guy who can't shoot threes as far as his percentage is concerned. He was like, but I'm telling you, it was just the system that was being run at the college he was at. He was like, when he gets to the combine, he's going to shoot like a really ridiculous percentage from three. And that percentage from three in the combine was really ridiculous. He shot in the 3-point. And he told us, he was like, he's a guy whose ceiling is like Stacey Augmon. It's like Corey Brewer. He's like one of those kind of basketball players. You can see that, when you sit there and you watch him play. Another young guy with a really nice IQ, with a really high IQ, man, crashes the boards intensely. He will always go crash the boards, always trying to get that block, that chase down block, or that block where nobody sees it coming. Those Dwayne Wade specials, as I call it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But and then his 3-point shooting is solid. It's just solid. Right now, his issue is foul trouble. Like he was always, as soon as he walks in the game, they're blowing the whistle on him because he's a pretty aggressive defender. So they're going to blow the whistle on him. And some of those fouls, he's not committing, but he's getting that reputation, which I don't like. And hopefully, as it goes on, he can play a little smarter. You know what I mean? And that just comes with time. You know, those things just comes with time. So I like Dalen and I like Julian. And I think they play well together, you know what I'm saying, on the floor. I don't know how much time we're going to see them get throughout the rest of this year, but I hopefully next year we'll start seeing them get some real tick, and then we'll really know what we got on our hands.
I agree with that. And I think, like, especially with how close the Bulls are going to be close to the luxury tax, unless they do something crazy, you may have to get those guys on value contracts, get in there, get in minutes. I love the fact that we do have Peter Patton in our player development department now and in there to work with those guys this summer. But I agree with basically everything you said about all those guys, especially Julian. Like, I watch a lot of G League, especially when Julian was playing down there, and you could tell right away Julian was better than that level of competition. Now that means so much, but I think it's something to be said that a player that you actually drafted, they go down to the G League and you can immediately see, like, oh, they're better than this. They're better than this. Like, it means a lot to say that. And so, you know, Julian, I think he's going to fill out some. I think, like you said, kind of understanding the game and how not to foul. Because once he does that, Julian Phillips is one of those players that I can easily see guarding 1 through 4.
So, you right on. You right on that, man. That length and that size that he has, like, he would be a nightmare for guards, especially. You know what I mean? He would be a nightmare for that. So guarding that 1 and that 2, he'll really turn it out. And then the 3 and the 4, the dudes he can actually match up with, like his foot, like watch his feet. You know what I mean? When he's playing defense, like he knows just where to be. He knows how to move. All those things, those fundamentals that are taught that aren't so frequent in today's NBA now. Like you can see, he knows his fundamentals in basketball, and that's going to carry him a whole long way, man. So I'm with you. I think Julian will be awesome for the Bulls. We'll see how much time that he gets, though.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Let's hope
we'll
that's
see.
The case. Last question before we go.
Yes, sir.
This time next season, Dave, are we talking about the Bulls being a playoff team, or are we back talking about let's fight for this 9th seed again?
Oh, that is a question right there, brother. Man, and you know I'm annoyingly optimistic. Yeah. Oh man, but I'm honest. Like I do see what's in front of me. I think this still feels like a play-in team going into next year. It depends on the leaps of Patrick Williams, as it's depended on for a couple years now. But it depends on his leap, I think. If Patrick Williams makes an ascension after the contract signing and all that stuff, but if he makes an ascension, they are competing for the playoffs. Because that's the dude who the NBA's prototype is, of prototypical kind of player, which is basically Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, kind of build in size and, you know what I'm saying, those guys, and with the 3-point shot and can defend and do everything out there. We'll see. But it depends on him. Kobe, what is it going to look like when teams actually have him on the whiteboard? Yeah. Like, what's that going to look like now? We saw what it looked like for Ayo. When he finally, after his rookie season, when he got the opportunity to start his second season, it was a little different. You know, how they had him on that whiteboard. They guarded him a little bit different. It's happening for Reeves in LA right now, too. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah. The same kind of thing. So I'm interested to see what will happen with that when they start guarding him a little bit differently and, making more focus on Kobe White. That's going to be interesting. But it depends on Patrick, man. And I don't know who else will be here outside of Vooch.
Vooch is definitely going to be here.
Oh, Vooch will be here. Listen, no matter. Vooch ain't going nowhere, Haize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, if AK can find a way to move Vooch without giving up a first-round pick, I take back every bad thing I've said about him, because it will be magic.
Man, I'll be like, this dude's a magician.
Exactly. Like, he had dirt on somebody. He had dirt on somebody.
And they told me not to open the box, but I'm going to show you, brother. They're going to show you, all right? Now, like I said, no first rounder on our end, all right? Like, man, it's going to have to look like Empire or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you going to get this done? But, yeah, man, like, I want to see the roster filled out, but if it is what it is in my head, I think that's a play-in team to me. Okay. But like I said, it depends on Patrick and some of these moves I might see. But if your lineup, and again, this is Roses and Sunshine lineup. If it's Lonzo, Kobe, Patrick, Torrey Craig, and Vooch, that's a good five. Depending on Patrick, I think that's a good five. And off your bench, you got Ayo, and Caruso, who I hope they trade the whole season and allow this man to go somewhere. Dude, if the value,
you know
man, that they could have gotten.
That may come down to, honestly, that may come down to how ready Lonzo, because if Lonzo looks like he's ready to go, I can see the Bulls moving off from Caruso.
Yeah, that would be big. That would be huge. But who knows, man? Like, AK is just, who knows? That dude is different right now, man. And I don't mean that in a positive way.
He sees the world in a very different way than the rest of Bulls fans sees it, bro. Because you can't tell me he doesn't look at this and be like, yeah, we're close to a championship. How?
What are you seeing? I don't even want to look through the glasses you're looking through. Like it's wrong. Bro, what are you looking at here, bro? Like, what math are you doing? Like, what is going on? Who do you have this much faith in that it can carry you like this on this squad? How cold do you think DeMar is? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know he cold, but come on. Like, what we doing right here, man? So, yeah, if they get off from under DeMar, if they get off from under Caruso, I think that would give Bulls fans more hope because you're building for the youth at that point in time. Once you get rid of those two guys, and I don't mean to say it that harshly as like get rid of, because they're awesome basketball players, but once you get something back, like draft picks or whatever, and like you said, do what he actually said he wanted to do and build through a draft, then you might have something, man. Might have yourself a stew going. But we'll see, bro. Like, I don't see nothing but a play-in attempt again as constructed.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, Dave, tell them where they can follow you at, man.
Oh, man, BAWL Sports. Bow Sports. You got to say it like Avery Johnson is saying it. Also follow CHGO Bulls. Myself, my man Matt Peck, my man Will Gottlieb, Mark K. We're all there all 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week, talking Bulls all the time. I was talking to who was I talking to? The Scoop Jackson. He was like, "Man, dog, that sounds like a tough gig, brother." And I said, "Hey, man," I was like, "Honestly, it's all good. It's all good. I love doing it. I really do enjoy doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love. I appreciate people watching and enjoying it. Of course, Ball on Bulls with myself and C-Dub. Still on that. C-Dub is hosting it right now because I had to take a little time off from it. But C-Dub is still holding it down over there right now. So, but yeah, that's where y'all can find me, and that's where I'll be.
Y'all make sure y'all go and check them out, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. We're going to try to get Dave back on maybe sometime during the offseason. We can talk about where all this craziness ends up going for real, because it's going to be a long offseason, y'all. But, man, thank you guys for tuning in, man. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.